Next question is from DJ Espresso Official. He says, you mentioned a site called Scratch Pro for mall store gigs in one of your previous videos. Can you maybe share a bit more on how to book those kinds of gigs and what to expect? Yes. So let me go ahead and get that link for you. This right here is scratch.com. They have Scratch Event DJs, all right, website. So what Scratch DJs is pretty much they are a DJ agency and they look for talent. They book gigs at the corporate level. What they do is they do business with all these brands out here: Macy's, Nike, Nordstrom, Oakley, Pink. You know, this pretty much all these businesses. So they book gigs at the corporate level for these companies. All right. So what happens is they say, okay, let's say like Under Armour, we are a DJ company, and if you ever do an event in any of your stores, we can provide talent for you. So Under Armour be like, all right, cool. We are opening up a new store in New Hampshire. All right, we're gonna do it for Christmas. We're gonna do a grand opening, and we like to add DJs to help with the grand opening for brand awareness, blah blah blah. Then what they'll do is they'll go to their roster of DJs, look who signed up in that area, and then they'll start hitting DJs in the New Hampshire area. Hey, are you available to do a opening at Under Armour at New Hampshire Mall on December 28th or whatever the case may be? So they'll hit up all these DJs. First one to says yes, boom, they'll lock them in. So now as a DJ, it is now your responsibility to be at that location at that time. All right. So what happens is they book that gig. Let's say, for example, Under Armour paid them, let's say like $500 to do that gig. All right. They'll pay the DJ, let's say like $300, and then they'll keep $200 or whatever the cut may be. All right. So you as a DJ, you got to be there from that time to that time, to noon to 3 or noon to 4 or whatever that time is. And then you do your thing. They're going to tell you what you need to bring, speakers, all that stuff, let you know where to go. And then you just need to be at that spot at that time. All right. That's how that works. Now, on the flip side, on the back end, depending on where you are, will be dependent on if you're going to get called or not. Sometimes if you are in a busy area and there's a lot of DJs that are like waiting for gigs, you may never get called. If you get called, pretty much there were DJs that were ahead of you that said they couldn't do it. And this is where your time to shine is. You say yes, and then that's how you start getting booked for those gigs. All right. So this is how Scratch DJs work. So Scratch events, Scratch DJs. This is how you get those corporate gigs. And my gig log that you see me do, this is how I got my gigs with that. That's how that works. And talking about what to expect is really low key. Like I said, you just got to be there. So pretty much how my contracts looked, the last one I did was at this store called Box Lunch. And for Box Lunch, what I did, I had to be there. It was like a 3-day event because they was just doing a grand opening. And the first day I was there on like a Thursday, I had to be there from like, I want to say like 4 to 7. So actually I was playing from 4 to 7, but I had to be there at 3. You're always going to be there an hour prior. So you go there, set up, check in, sign up, and then set up your equipment and you the DJ. There's going to be like a manager there. They're going to tell you, hey, can you make these announcements because we're doing this giveaway? You know, you're probably going to have a script on what they're doing to kind of help them push their brand. So as a DJ, this is good exposure for you, number one. And number two, it's good practice for you to start to, get your confidence on the mic. Well, like I said, real low level, low threat. And you can use this as building blocks to kind of figure out where you are and kind of capitalize on that. So I showed up at 3, start playing from 4 to 7, boom, whenever you're done, pack up, go home. And then I come back the next day. And then actually I was there on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday, I played from noon to, I say 3 o'clock or noon to 4. Had to be there an hour prior. Same thing, set up, play, get some announcements, giveaways, all that's on the script. And then you go home. And then probably about 2 months later, I want to say probably about a month later is whenever Scratch DJs, they will direct deposit your paycheck into your bank account. So that's how that works. On the podcast link, you can submit your question there. If you don't want to ask it here in the chat, you can also use the link, go to the website, submit your question. And if you do submit a question, you do get a free ebook as well. So just keep that in mind and get a freebie for that. Sign up for a newsletter so that way you can get notified whenever I drop new episodes. The audio versions is available only on the website. The YouTube versions, the video versions is available on the website. But if you want to see the YouTube, like the video versions of it, you want to become a channel member on my YouTube. As you can see here, you see how the YouTube is blocked out here. It's grayed out. You can listen to it, but you can't watch it. But all these other ones, you can click on here through the website and watch them on YouTube through that way. So